Coach Steve here, and we're going to talk about the 6-2 offense today. This is an offense that in our high school team we're going to be playing a lot. So you mark those players. This is what you're going to use in a lot of cases. We may use the 5-1 on occasion, but we'll talk through that today. So this is kind of meant to walk you through how we play it, how we play defense, kind of how we go through the first 3 rotations in the 6-2, because the first 3 rotations and the second 3 rotations are the same. So let's get started with that. So we want to look at the rotations of the 6-2 offense, and we want to explain both being in rotated position and being at base position. And we talked a little bit about base and rotation in the earlier videos. So first of all, what's this numbering stuff? Well, you'll hear things like 6-6, 4-2, 6-3, 6-2, 5-1. What's that mean? Well, the first number tells you how many hitters there are. So in the case of a 4-2, for example, there are 4 hitters and 2 setters. So we say player positions because we may have substitutions. This isn't how many people hit, individuals hit. It's how many player positions are used to hit in the front row. Now, we use back row attack as well, so there's more than just 2 or 3 hitters in the front row. But you should know that this is the numbering system that you use for that sort of thing. The second number is the number of setters, and you can have anywhere from 6 setters to 1 setter. So again, the difference in a 4-2, the setter's in the front row, and that leaves only 2 front row hitters. And then if you double that, because you've got 2 setters and 6 people on the court, you're going to have 4 hitters in total and 2 setters. A 6-2, the setter comes from the back row. So when the setter's in the front row, they're actually a hitter. But when they're in the back row, they're a setter. And that gives you 3 options all the time in the front row. And that gives you a 6-2. So, and just for future reference, sometimes, in fact very often, we substitute out the setter when they get to the front row to put a stronger hitter or blocker in that position. So we're going to focus on the base and rotated positions for the first 3 rotations of the 6-2. Let's take a look. So we've got a configuration here like we had when we were looking at the rotation and base positioning videos. So I'm going to explain the color code that we used in those videos but didn't really explain. So in this case, the red players, we are in rotation 1. This is how we might start a match if we win the serve. In rotation 1, we have a setter getting ready to serve, and we have a setter in the front row. So the red guys are setters. We have a yellow guy. These 2 are outside hitters, and these 2 are middles, or in the back row, we often bring in a specialized player called a libero to help out in the back row. So we're going to simulate some play here and show what we would do. So one of the things that's different, and we haven't done switching, so this is the first introduction to switching, we want our setters and our setter in the front row at base to have their base on the right side. These are right side players, right side base. The outside hitter, they are left side players most of the time, and the middles are middle. Now, there are differences there. Sometimes we'll play the middle over here and the outside over here in the back row. In the front row, we pretty much play it that way when we're at base. Remember, that's base, not rotated position. So how do you know where you're going to be, and how do you know where you should be at base? Well, we can go back to this. Why do we change? Well, we change because we want to get our players where they are the most capable. So, for example, outside hitters usually are good passers, and they are good hitters. Middles generally are great blockers and can move very quickly along the net. Right sides tend to be good utility hitters. They can hit everything because there's the setting, right side setting takes a little longer to develop in players, so it's not quite as good in the beginning. So those hitters have to be able to adapt to any ball. And of course, the right side back row player in the 6-2 is the setter. So what you need to know for base is, am I right, left, or middle? So, for example, I might tell a left side player in the back row that I really want them at middle. So they would say, oh, at base in the back row, I'm middle. In the front row, I'm left side. Okay, so you need to know if you're back row or front row and whether your base is left, middle, or right, and then you need to go there. So we'll talk a little bit about that. So let's take a look. Let's go back and take a look at our guys on the court. So we're going to serve here. We're in serving and position. And let's take a quick look at where we are on the court. We have the middle in the back where we want them, the left side in the back where we want them. The setter is going to be able to come up here. And so they'll all be able to get to base very easily. In the front row, we actually want this person to go here and this person to go here. So how does that happen? Well, one thing we can do because we're serving is we can get closer to where we want to get. So we can actually stack here and or align ourselves here. And you can see we're not overlapping. We're not allowed. These players can't go past one another or they'd be out of rotation. So let's serve. We serve, they make the switch, and everybody's at base. Looks good. Red, blue, yellow. And again, we could switch these. I'll keep saying that, but that we might wind up doing that. So you should know. All right, so that's that. Let's move on. So let's say we go back and we serve again. Again, they move. And let's say we lose this point, so the other team gets the serve. Well, first thing we have to do while they're getting the ball for serve is we have to get back to rotated positions. So nobody in the back moved, but the front flipped. And so now we go, okay, how do we know if we're in our rotated position? We use the discipline of going to those positions till we get really comfortable with it. But you can also look across from you and see if there's a right side, an outside, or a middle across from you. The other thing you need to know is if I'm here, I need to know he's behind me, he's in front of me. And we're all going to move together one position over to rotate. So that's how you know as well. So two things. Know who's in front of you and back of you, and also know who's across from you. And you won't get confused very often. But early on, we want to go to these rotated positions before we rotate so everybody's clear. So now we've lost the serve, the other team's serving, and we have to go back to our rotated positions because we have to be in rotation when we receive the serve. So let's take a look at that. So here we are, we've gotten back to our rotated positions, and now we have to set up for serve receive because they're serving. This gets a little bit more complicated, but we like to use a 3-person serve receive. So to do that, there's a bunch of different ways you can do it, but in general, most teams, and we're going to probably be like a lot of teams, we're going to use our outside hitters who are generally speaking pretty good passers. That's kind of one of the things we look for from them. And we're going to use them and the defensive player, this libero that we may have brought in, or we may have a middle that's a really good passer. We're going to use that to our advantage. So now we've got 3 receivers, and for receive, I like pretty much a flat line. This person might be back a half step, but that's it. Now notice, to stay in rotation, our setter has to back up, has to stay behind this person because they're in front of them. And remember the rule, in front of you or in back of you, and to either side of you, you have to stay in rotation and mind where they are. So this is good. We're in rotation here. And we've moved our front row guys, instead of being like over here and here, and here, we've moved them over a little bit. Okay? And the reason we did that is to allow them to cover some court in case a short ball is served. So we don't want them standing at the net, not involved in the serve receive. We want them about halfway between the net and the 10-foot line, ready to receive a short serve. So that's our configuration. Now they're going to serve at us. So notice that as they serve, a couple of things happen. One, the setter goes to the setting spot here. Okay. The hitters, and you can't see this because this is in 2 dimensions, but the back row player is going to take this ball. It's a deeper ball. So in the meantime, all the hitters get ready to hit. They're behind the 10-foot line, ready to do an approach and hit. So we get a pass goes to setter goes to hitter. All the hitters advance because we want people to defend the whole court. We want them not to know where the ball's going. So now we've received. Now notice one thing here. Do we have our hitters where we want them? Well, this is a right side hitter on the left side, and this is a left side hitter on the right side. The middle's okay. So why did we do that? Well, we did that because if we go back a little bit, it would be really hard for him to get over here and him to get over here to hit. So we do what we call stay for one to keep it simple. Everybody stays for one. It applies in almost every rotation. And well, actually 4 out of the 6 rotations, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So this is rotation 1. We're serve receiving, and the ball gets set. We hit the ball, and now we go to base. So now you see the switch happen. Remember, we didn't need to switch in the back, but we needed to switch in the front. Now we're at base with everybody where they're supposed to be. Okay? So now let's play. Let's say the other team's playing. We'll show a little defense here. Our double block goes over here. I haven't shown the attackers, but the ball's coming there. This player, we usually have them come into this space here and cover tips. Another way to play this would be to put them over here, taking hard angle, and then move this person over here a little bit. If we were a little faster and more experienced, we might do something like that. But for now, we'll do it this way. So let's say this isn't a tip. This is a hard struck ball. And it goes to this player. Notice what happens. Setter comes up to the setting spot. The 3 hitters go back and get ready. The pass comes. Setter sets a middle. And everybody moves forward as if they were attacking, so the other team doesn't know quite where we're going. Now there's some modifications to that, but that's the basic. And then once the ball goes on their side, where do we go? Minute the ball crosses the net to their side, unless they're going to dump it back over on the first hit, we go to base. Here we are, base, just like before. Here, here, and here. Okay? All right, so that's rotation 1. Now we go back to our rotated positions. Let's say we got the serve back. So the ball's going to come back over to us. We go to our rotated positions, and now we've got to rotate. So first we go to rotated positions. Now we rotate as the ball comes back over for us to serve. Notice we now have an outside hitter who's serving. Outside hitter opposite him. Middles, right sides. Okay? All right. So now we're going to serve. Well, let's think about our serve before we serve. We want this person at base here, roughly. We want this person at base here. And we want this person eventually, after they serve, at base here. Because he's an outside, he's a left side defender. Well, why wouldn't we just move him over there to serve and move these 2 guys over here? Now, how can I do that? You would say, well, wait a minute, he's gone past this guy, and he's not supposed to. Well, when you're off the court, you're not considered to be in the rotation. So when you're serving, you can do anything in the back row that you want to do. So we'll do this. So now we're going to serve. Okay, as we serve, we can get to base right away because they have to make their plays first. Okay? So let's say we miss that serve. Okay, so now we have to go back to our rotated positions. So now we're in rotated positions. Now we have to serve receive. How do we set up serve receive here? Well, we want the setter out of the way. We want him close to the setting spot, and we don't want him to take the first ball unless he has to. So we'll move him up here. And notice we can move him over here and him back here. Boom. Now, what do we have to pay attention to? Well, this guy can't go past the setter. So if this setter goes up here and wanders over here, and this guy wanders over here, let's show that again. If this guy winds up here, and this guy winds up to that side of him, then we're out of rotation. So they have to be careful about that. Another thing that has to happen is this guy's got to stay behind this guy, because front to back, remember? Okay, so now if we move here, we're fine, unless this guy gets behind this guy, or vice versa if this guy gets in front. So they have to pay attention to that. It's pretty simple when you do it, but I wanted to illustrate it for you so that you can kind of get a feel for what we're trying to do. So now we're in good shape for serve receive. Ball gets served at us. Again, look at the hitters getting ready to hit if they don't have to take the ball. If they do, they'll take the ball and then get ready to hit. Okay, pass comes up, setter gets the ball, setter sets the ball to the outside, outside hits the ball, and we go to base. Okay, so we're right at base. All right, so that's off of a serve receive. Let's say we won the point. Let's play out here a little bit. So we run the point and the ball came back to us. So notice we went back to rotated position. Again, everybody's across from each other. Okay, and you know who's following you and who you're following. So now we're in rotated positions. We rotate one. Now we're in rotation 3. Now rotation 3 gets interesting because we've got our setter a long way from the setting spot, which is not the greatest thing. So we can, when we're serving, that doesn't make a huge difference. Okay, so now we're going back to serve, and see these two are close to each other because this guy wants to go here, this guy wants to go there. Up in the front, this guy wants to go over here, and this guy wants to stay just here. So those are the switches we're going to make on our serve. So let's watch that. We serve, everybody's at base. Great, right? All right, now let's say we lost the serve. So we're at our rotated positions here. So again, we're across. So now we're at rotated positions. What do we do? What could we do in rotation 3? Well, let's take a look. I'm going to do this a little differently. All right, rotation 3. Let's go to our rotated positions. So we are here, we are here, and we are here. That's our rotated positions in rotation 3. And you can tell it's rotation 3 because this was 1 for the setter, this was 2 for the setter, 3 for the setter, 4, 5, and 6 for the setter. When this setter comes back here, we're in rotation 4. 4, 5, 6. And it looks exactly like 1, 2, and 3 look. So we don't have to go through 4, 5, and 6. But we've got this setter in an awkward position, and we would like to have the outsides and this libero/middle in the back for serve receive. So how could we do that? Well, one way to do that is to take this person back here and move this setter up to about there. Now, how did that work, Coach? Well, think about it. Let's go back and see what we just did. He cannot get in front of him. Okay? He cannot get on this side of that guy. So how do we manage that? Well, we move the middle over to the sideline to give this person a lot of room. So he can't overlap here or front to back with this guy. So we're going to move him back here. He's got to be careful not to get behind the other guy in yellow. We can move him all the way up here, but he cannot go past this guy. Okay? So we can put him there. We've got our middle here. This guy can come all the way over here pretty much, but we'll put him on the court in a good place. Now we've got our 3 serve receivers where we want them, our setter, okay? And this is different. Remember earlier we saw the players stay for 1. In rotations 3 and 6, we don't stay for 1 because we've already got our front row outside hitter back here. He can just go here and attack his normal attack. And the middle, all he has to do is, instead of transitioning over here, he just transitions to here and comes in on an angle. So that gives us the ability to attack really quickly and properly from this particular receiving position. So that's serve, receive in rotation 3. And then serving in rotation 3 we already covered. So that's the basics of this, of the 6-2. And it'll make a lot more sense on the court, but I thought it would be helpful for you to see this and to get a feel for kind of how we're trying to do this. So study this a little bit. Watch the first two on rotation and base. This one's longer, obviously. Take some time to maybe watch it once or twice to absorb it, and then you won't be as confused on the court when we implement it. And that will help you spend more time working on hitting and playing and reacting to the ball and not worrying so much about, am I in rotation? Have I gotten out of place and all of that? So next time we'll hit some other topics, but right now, try to figure out 6-2, and we'll see you next time.